New on Curiosity Stream. She was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on The Spy Who Stole the Atom Bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Hey, Ola, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3,391. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And you are the Men's Room. I'm Jeff today. It's a brand new year, but Ryan Castle's still trapped in his basement dungeon studio. Once again, we will sit and spin New Year, New You. Today, the top 10 greatest workout songs of all times. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorites, TV Time with Ted.
The clock, you're going to join.
All right, here we go. Florida man now starts New Year by jumping on the hood of a police SUV for an Instagram video. Meanwhile, a drug dealer tells cops that his bag contained sugar and cornstarch for a cake, and not a big bag of blow. Oklahoma dad jailed after getting his 2-year-old tipsy on Smirnoff Ice. Man feels sorry for stealing a sword 40 years ago and does something nice. And a woman is arrested after hiking to George Washington's chin. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, yesterday, you might remember this, I don't know. It was reported that actress Tanya Roberts had died at the age of 65. A little later in the same day, it was reported that actress Tanya Roberts was actually still alive at the age of 65. And then finally last night, it was reported that actress Tanya Roberts was dead again and permanently at the age of 65. Well, this morning we wake up and it's reported that a former Miss Virginia 1958. Remember that day?
No.
Neither do I. But anyway, her name was Barbara Lay. It was reported that she died. But like Tanya, Barbara wasn't dead. Unlike Tanya, Barbara is still alive. Then again, everyone listening to the show is alive. Hell, there's currently about 7 billion people on this planet that are alive. So frankly, being alive isn't really all that impressive until you consider all those times that you almost weren't alive anymore. Yesterday's Shot of the Day featured a woman who fell 650 feet from a mountaintop. She survived. She only got a concussion, believe it or not. A man in Montana, he fell 50 feet off of a bridge, and then a forklift landed on top of him. He survived. And over the weekend, a skier fell out of a chairlift. She managed to live. Maybe you're sensing a theme here, survival. All of us have had that moment when we thought we are about to involuntarily shuffle off the mortal coil, as they say, but we didn't. We avoided death somehow. And today we want to hear your story with the answer to this question. Why should we not be talking to you right now?
Be a part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching. But a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, no, Malcolm. The debauchery is just beginning. All the patrols, and away we go. Welcome to Season 15, episode number 3,391. What a large and in charge episode we have for you today. Once again, we welcome in Ryan Castle for the first time this year. He is still locked away in his basement studio dungeon. Might be a new year, but some things haven't changed.
That is correct.
And Ryan is still at home. But we will sit and spin. And today, to get you ready for a new year and a new you, the top 10 greatest workout songs of all time.
A new year, new you, really.
Yeah. Look, man, you might not be able to go to the gym, but you know what? You can sit there in your living room and you can, I don't know, jazzercise or whatever the hell these kids are doing these days.
I'm sure it's jazzercise.
Jazzercise.
That is exactly.
Jane Fonda workout.
Yes,
you know what I mean? All the popular ones.
Break out the VHS tapes.
Right. Richard Simmons. All the. Sure do wish they'd bring back that lovely lady on ESPN that used to come on in the mornings. I'd watch her before Sports Center. Just give me a half an hour.
Me too.
I might get up and work out again.
Did you ever work out watching her?
Hell no. I was young and.
What is your perspective of working out?
Right.
I might have broke a sweat.
What was her name? Was it Tawny or
we go through this every time. I think it's Katina Tom.
Oh, yes,
or
Katina.
Something.
She was always in like Hawaii or Southern California or Florida. She had her, circular big black mat and just stand on it with two friends in the back and you just sit there and go
and stare.
Yeah. Look at you work out.
I like watching you work out more than I like working out.
What if they do that like at a gym? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to actually work out.
That would help.
I just want to sit and watch other people work out. You know what I mean? Like, be put in a little grandstand, and I can just root people on. Let me sit there and go, nice reps there, Jim. Nice reps.
Don't you think that's why they put yoga studios in those big-ass storefront windows?
Could be, yeah.
Right? And you walk by there, and there's like 40 women, and are wearing, Lululemon, whatever the hell.
Sure.
And it's all just ass facing the window. Mm-hmm. And you're trying not to stare, because that's the wrong thing to do. But then on the other hand, you're like, well, there's 40 asses staring at me in the window, man. That's right. I definitely slow my pace a little.
Yeah, we've gotten used to yoga pants. Remember they first jumped on the scene?
I do, but unfortunately, my memory of the first people I saw in yoga pants, like, good idea, I don't think they were for you. I'll leave it at that.
Look, I'll just say this. This is terrible, but I don't
That was body shaping, Miles.
Steve and I went and got a sandwich today. I was starving, right?
All right.
So we're coming back from getting our sandwiches, and we get behind someone in yoga pants, okay? And I started to lose my appetite, so I walked across the street so that I could come back and eat my sandwich.
It's not kidding. It's just
I was like,
at the point that they got in front of us, they were like 5 feet in front of us. You couldn't not look, and say,
it's like me wearing them. Like, you'd be like, dude.
So, I mean, they're good in the right place, but
yeah,
they're not for everyone.
Did not ruin my appetite, though. Got out just in time. Today on the question, why should we not be talking to you right now? Bizarre story. Maybe you know who Tanya Roberts is. She used to be a celebrity babe, I guess, back in the day.
She was a Playboy model, which is what I remember her first. She was
in a Bond flick, right?
Yes, she was in a Bond flick with Roger Moore. She was on Charlie's Angels toward the end of its run on TV.
But she was basically...
And then she showed up on the 70s show.
That's where I remember
that 70s show. She was... whose mom was she? She was a mother on that show, and everybody, like, she was the hot mom.
I don't remember. I just know seeing the pictures. I was like, that's where I know her from.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean... Yeah.
But apparently there's been a lot of confusion about Tanya Roberts. She died yesterday, in fact, at L.A. Cedars-Sinai following a bizarre turn of events. Her partner, Lance O'Brien, told TMZ that he got a call from one of Tanya's doctors Monday night, about 9 o'clock, saying that, yes, in fact, that Tanya had passed. Now, you maybe do not know, or maybe you have. Lance told her publicist on Sunday, that Tanya was dead. This is her partner.
Right.
Now, he tried explaining his mistake on Monday, telling TMZ he had visited her in the hospital on Sunday, and she suddenly opened her eyes, but then shut them, and he saw her fade away.
He saw her fade away.
He says he thought she was dead, and he left the hospital. Well, turns out...
Like, you don't wait for a doctor or anything. You just go, oh, man, you're dead.
That is correct.
All right, I'm out.
He did not speak to medical staff.
He just left.
Like, oh, yeah, she's dead.
Maybe makes a phone
I don't know
call.
if he checked the
yeah,
pulse.
Tanya's dead.
But wouldn't you go and say, hey, she stopped breathing.
Yes.
She closed her eyes.
Of course.
Can you save my partner, my wife, my girlfriend, please? Somebody. Is there a doctor in this hospital? You know what I mean?
I would feel that would be the normal reaction. If this is the person you love, you believe that they've died, and the fact that they've died so freshly, so recently, you feel there's still a fighting chance to resuscitate them. I mean, absolutely.
And your dog falls down and just stops breathing in your living room, right? You're like, he's dead. I'm going to go to the grocery store.
Get a hefty bag.
Right, exactly. Somebody get him out of here.
I feel like most people who saw him dying on the street, you wouldn't just be like, all right.
Yeah, what can I do?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so he rolled out.
He did.
And started making phone calls, said, yep, she's dead.
He basically, I don't know if he WebMD'd it. Is she dead? What are the signs?
Right.
Now people do their self-diagnosis.
Yes, do WebMD at the hospital.
Let me Google this. So he thought she was dead. He left without speaking to medical staff. Got a phone call Monday from Cedars.
So again, I'm sorry. Just so you leave without talking to medical staff. Is your other thought like, all right, she's dead. I'm out. Yeah, they'll figure it out when they see her. Like the nurse will just wander in and figure out she's dead. I don't know what to tell him.
Yesterday he gets a phone call from Cedars informing him again that Tanya was alive. So he rushes to the hospital, and then she dies again. A quote, this time Lance says that she died in my arms. So at least he stuck around. I don't know if he choked her out or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
But technically she didn't die the first time.
No. He just left.
And then he told everybody, she's dead.
Right.
She's dead.
I mean, that's a heavy phone call to make when you're not 100%.
Did you
I would never call somebody to be like, hey, man, I think your wife's dead. I'm not really sure I left. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not the phone call to
I feel like at a hospital, like, something would have beeped.
Anything. Yeah, generally they have alarms for that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And then we have a story about a former Miss Virginia who was declared dead from COVID-19 and came back to life. Barbara Guthrie Lay, L-A-Y, who was Miss Virginia in 1958, was taken to a hospital in Georgia by her husband.
I got to Google her.
Because she developed trouble breathing after getting the COVID. Lay is 82 years old, and she lives in Georgia with her husband, Tony Lay. She was pronounced dead by the hospital 2 days later. That's a tough person to marry. You know what I mean? Do you really want to enter the Lay family? I mean, do you want your name to be Lay?
And it's Tony Lay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't only eat just one.
I don't know. I'm just more
I'm
thinking
sure he
sexual.
used that line plenty. Hey, you can't just eat just one Tony
Lay. You know what I do? I do that.
There she is.
All right.
There she was.
Yeah, there she was. Tony had been allowed in a room in the ICU, and he was not at the hospital at the time. Hospital first called Barbara's son, who was a doctor, with the news, and contacted Tony. Tony then began tearfully reaching out to Barbara's other relatives to tell them that she had passed away, and then Kelly received another phone call from the hospital minutes later saying, no, his mom now had a pulse. As a physician, I will say without hesitation, there's only one word for what has happened over the past week, a miracle. Tony told ABC, I went from being miserable and brokenhearted to overjoyed. Barbara, who has since been moved out of ICU and into a regular hospital room, has yet to learn of her near-death experience. She doesn't know yet that she basically died, and they brought her back to life. An old pal said he planned on getting a copy of the story about Barbara to show her after the fact. Like, hey, look.
We thought you were dead. Mm-hmm. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that what you want to see right now?
Yeah. Lays have been married for 6 years. A couple believes that Barbara contracted the coronavirus from a neighbor, according to what went down. So
she's
today,
82, so she got married. Like, would you bother to get married at 76?
You know,
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you got nothing to lose, but
I
also
guess
feel like you
not.
got nothing to gain.
You don't have to worry
It's
about
kinda-
contraception, do you?
No, I mean,
Bless
say
you.
bless you. Until death do you part. Like, probably.
No
like,
one's getting pregnant.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I was going to say, right, you don't have to have that conversation.
No, you don't have to worry about
I
kids.
see the silver lining. Cool.
Had she been married before?
I would say so. I'd say they both probably have. I mean, he is Tony Lay.
Well, you never know. Maybe Tony just said, all right, took me 80-some years. Let's get married.
I refuse to believe that Tony Lay does not have, and I don't know, I'm just guessing 2 previous wives at least. Just by name alone.
Okay.
Hey, Tony Lay. And I'm sure he's nothing like
But maybe it worked solid for him until like his 60s and 70s.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like Tony Lay's been married a couple times, lost his crap, doesn't care, just keeps doing it. And again, we have no idea. Pure conjecture because his name is Tony Lay. That's the entire basis of this.
But you look at like old, how people kind of evolve and change over their lifestyle. Like, look at somebody like Marlon Brando. Right. When he started out, he was a really young, good-looking guy, and then he turned into this giant piece of crap, right?
Yeah.
He basically turned into like
but also,
bastard.
But he had the one luxury that unfortunately he's also a lunatic. So, like,
Correct,
when you're also crazy, nobody cares that you got fat and weird.
Yeah, but when you have sex with 86-year-old Marlon Brando, if he's still alive, you're having sex with 86-year-old Marlon Brando, not the guy that you know from the movies.
Sure.
Now, with okay, so even if I am 78, I'm going out with Miss Virginia, right?
But who are you bragging to?
But she's
Miss
80.
Virginia here.
She's 80.
1958.
Right.
Like, well, okay.
Could you wear your sash one night, maybe in the bedroom, to spice things up?
I don't think it covers the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, does it matter at that point in time if you were really good looking growing up? Or
if your name is Tony Lay, you brag about the fact that she was Miss Virginia 1958. He does. And again, we don't know, but his name's Tony Lay.
Tony Lay.
I think maybe just, like you're in your 80s. The hell with it. Let's get married.
Yeah, I guess.
What have we got to lose?
Yeah, well, your kids get to lose your inheritance, but other than that,
your kids are like,
let's break it down. I mean, we know what it is. Like, they're not getting nearly as much
your
stuff as they
kids
did.
don't want you to
Like,
do
what are you doing, Dad? Like, we gotta split this 4 ways already.
They're gonna leave the scrap.
Now she's gonna take 50%, and we gotta take the other 50% and divide that into 5.
Yeah, if you want to stick it to your kids, get married late in life.
Right, exactly. That's how you do it, man.
Oh, you thought my fortune was going to you? I married her.
I'm burning the house down. You know why? Because you can't do this.
By the way, we got some Tanya Roberts trivia.
All right.
That someone sent in for us. Tanya Roberts trivia, it says. She was in the critically acclaimed movie Beastmaster with Mark Singer. You remember Beastmaster?
That was the one where she was kind of crawling around. That's that famous picture of her like in a brown kind of thing.
I thought it's her in like a
fuzzy bikini looking thing.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might
like
be
like a silver bodysuit with like stuff on the shoulders. If I had to guess.
Oh.
The funniest thing about that bit of trivia is Mark Singer. I don't know why. All right, let's see.
Let's see what she looks like. Oh, here, see how she's wearing that brown thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See, this is a very attractive woman. Now, look at this. This is amazing.
Look at is that from that movie?
That's Tanya Roberts, yes.
No, I know that's her.
Yeah.
Man, oh, man.
That would be, wow. I can't believe this guy didn't even care that she died.
I'm hanging out.
Right. Like, dude, bring her back to life.
She was Donna's mom.
Donna's
on
mom,
the 70s
correct.
show.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there she is in the waterfall. There she is with a pistol in her hand, getting ready to shoot somebody. Cool.
Doesn't matter what she's doing. Like,
yeah. Look at her doing that. Child labor, forcing those kids to work.
Oh, yeah.
Sell those shoes. Ooh, cool. Look at that. All right, question. Why should we not be talking to you right now? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, guys.
Hola. So, Aaron, why should we not be talking to you right now?
Okay, so I was on the tunnel project, Big Bertha in Seattle there, and we were getting ready to load out these Periform systems we were done using, and part of my job was scraping and cleaning them and getting them ready for loadout. So get the scrape the face and the edge, so every now and then we got to get the forklift over there to flip it over so I can jump on top and get the face cleaned up, yada, yada. Well, I'm right next to the edge of one of these forms, and I got a little margin trowel. It's kind of like a spatula, and I'm scraping it, and my face is right next to this thing, and the forklift operator carrying another big panel over, and he drops it, and it's one of those stories where I didn't get injured from it, but it's the only time in my life I've ever pretty much crapped my pants. And this form came down and it slapped the far edge across from where I was working, and it flipped it up, knocked my hard hat off, and the thing went up so fast, it would have snapped my neck back. That would have been it. You guys right now.
No, let me ask you a serious question, because I don't believe that I've ever been in a situation, because I know I haven't. I've never pooped myself based on being scared. But then again, I've never had a gun pointed at my face or something like that to the point where I thought, man, am I going to be here in a minute or not?
Right.
So my question is this. Is there something that's truly involuntary? Because people say, that scared the S out of me. Or whatever is there really that type of trigger?
Yeah.
Where you are to the point where you do not think you're going to be on this planet anymore and you expunge either through the front or through the back. Does that really happen?
I think we had a guy.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
You did. Did you say you did? You actually
about for years.
Did you?
Yeah, I've calculated over the years to figure out what would make me S myself, and it all comes down to what you ate that day.
And did you actually?
So based on your amount of adrenaline and what you've eaten, there's a better chance if I just had a bean burrito and a bear's about to attack me, then I'm going to poop myself.
Yeah, if you eat Taco Bell and go do something dangerous, then you might get embarrassed later on.
All right, well, I mean, I love Taco Bell, so anyway, I mean, I'm just honest to God.
Well,
is there something that would trigger me to poop myself? Because maybe I don't have to use the bathroom right now. Right?
No, I think there is, because we know what one of your phobias is, so you're scared of heights. We're hiking on a narrow edge. You legitimately fall. Like, you legitimately fall, or Ted and I have to grab your hands to prevent you from tumbling over.
Right.
My money says when we pull you back up, you just brown capped yourself.
You think so?
I think because that's already your fault. We had a guy that called about a year ago.
I was going to say, somebody has done this.
And I believe he was dealing with a bear. I believe that was the situation. If I remember his call right, they were kind of in a stare down. He does not want to be in the situation, but then the bear charged him, which wasn't what he was expecting, because he did all the protocol you're supposed to do. The bear charged him. If I remember correctly, he said he pooped himself. Jesus, Mike, that was.
Well, I mean, serious.
That was an unexpected but well-timed.
We none of us in here have ever been in that situation before.
No, I mean, I've been in a situation where I was terrified, but
like your shot of the day yesterday. So they had the marriage proposal. The one woman falls 600 feet. Fortunately, she fell into a bank of snow because they were on top of a.
I got a concussion, right?
So she was fine for the most part. Her partner, who proposed to her, fell 50 feet. I think he broke his neck or
he fractured his vertebrae. Yeah,
something like that, right? But when you go down there and you find these people, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they got stinky butt because they fell off a cliff?
I think she's earned it. I think she earned because look, if you're falling 650 feet, you do not believe for a second you're going to survive that fall. Sure. If you fall 20 feet, like, this is going to suck, I'll survive, right? But you fall 650 feet, have that long to think about it. I'm saying you just let her fly.
I think it depends on the real fear, too.
Right.
Like, sometimes falling, like, that's a mistake. You didn't plan on it to happen. But you're right. If somebody's sitting there with a loaded gun at your head, I don't know. Then I might poop.
But see, I don't think you do in that situation, because you can still probably get yourself out. Look, you can go to Chicago, Baltimore, name all these cities where there's gun violence all the time. I mean, I've had guns in my face plenty when I lived in Baltimore. Never even thought about pooping myself. It's not that I was not nervous. It was not a great, but that wasn't it. But if I open my door and there's like a bobcat in my house, I'm saying there's a much better chance I can poop myself.
What if it's a bobcat with a loaded gun?
See, then maybe I don't poop myself. Oh, he's going to shoot me? Okay, I'm all right with that.
And they're working.
Why should we not be talking to you right now? 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The men's room is in progress. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Man trapped in his car for 10 hours under almost 4 feet of snow almost did not get found, except for the efforts of a persistent police officer. Authorities in upstate New York received a series of 911 calls from Kevin Crescent, who told him he'd run off the road during the winter snowstorm. 40 inches of snow, by the way, fell in Binghamton, New York. Jesus. He asked dispatchers, hey, I need your help. And they were having a difficult time finding him. Law enforcement were going up and down the road looking for this guy. That's when one of the police officers headed over to State Route 17, looking for any sign of a stranded driver. He finally pulled over when he saw what he thought were mailboxes peeking out from under the snow. Hoping to get a gauge for the address, what he was near. That's when, per the release, while digging, he hit the windshield of the car, and inside was Crescent, who told Crowley that a snowplow had inadvertently buried him under almost 4 feet of snow, and that he'd been sitting in his car and stuck there for 10 hours without heat.
Oh, damn.
He was eventually found with frostbite and hypothermia. Our question, why should we not be talking to you right now? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Cameron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so I got a special one for you. This story today is the 22nd anniversary of it.
All right.
So on my first birthday, I ended up getting sent to the hospital because I had a fever of 106.
Good God, man.
Yeah, they ended up taking me in, putting me in an ice bath, and keeping me there overnight.
What? Why was your temperature 106?
Apparently, I had some bad virus or whatnot. I had no idea.
Oh, so basically, were you okay the next day?
Parents said I was fine.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still here.
Well, the good news is you don't remember any of that.
That is good. 106 degrees, man. That's ridiculous. What's the highest temperature you ever had?
Oh,
I think I hit 103 when I was a kid, but that's it.
I didn't think you could even survive 106.
Yeah. I mean, you can, but I want to say honestly, man, especially if you're 1 year old, my understanding is that the chances are very slim of you surviving 106.
Yeah, but you know, man, kids are so, like, even as you're an adult, like you call them, so very nonchalant. Almost died when I was 1 year old, right?
Right.
Well,
because you don't have a memory.
You don't have a memory of it. But your parents were freaking the F out.
All right. If they called and told the story, my baby was dying in my... Right. It'd be a whole story with them.
Yeah. But like, supposedly, like my kids are the same way. A couple times, things where I'm like, you have no idea the crap you put me through.
Right. They don't know. They don't know.
No idea.
So I think it's worse for parents, but also like for yourselves. Like, I've done it. I kind of tell that story nonchalantly, but it's like, yeah, I almost died.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
You were in a bubble, right?
As a baby. But I'm saying as an adult, there's been twice where it's almost been pretty close. I mean, you took me to the hospital the one time. They were like,
sure,
they
of course,
angry. Like, he could have died.
Yeah, they're yelling at me. I'm like, I brought him to the hospital. Like, what the hell do you want me to do, man?
Right, but I think sometimes when it happens to you, it's hard to fathom how far you almost got.
Well, also, I think it's how much memory you have as well. So even with you, like, falling off the balcony, you remember falling, and there's not a ton else.
Right, it's a concussion.
I think if you remember, smashing into your hutch and like where all these pools of blood were, dude, seriously, it looked like you took the grenade for everyone in your unit. You opened up your apartment. I mean, there's blood everywhere, but we could tell where there was impact blood and then just like splat, and it's like, if you remembered all that, I think you would get chills telling that story. Because, man, just looking at the evidence in your apartment is like, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? You should be dead. Based on, if I walked into that apartment and said, all right, the guy that lived here, this is his blood, is he alive or dead? Well, oh, he's dead. For sure. For sure.
So I've never really told my daughter all the stuff that went on with her growing up, but she had to go through a bunch of surgeries. You know what I mean? Like 7 or 8 surgeries to get to the point where she could have this one major surgery. So
how old was she at this point?
She was 2. Okay, so all these surgeries leading up to this. So she's going to have open heart surgery. They're going to do all this stuff. So, and then Ted, you brought up the fact that you were shaking after your snowmobile thing.
Oh, yeah, for like an hour.
This was the first time in my life that I honestly was just shaking.
Yeah.
And so I needed to step outside of Children's Hospital in D.C. to get a cigarette because the surgery is going longer and all this stuff. And I'm like, look, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm just going to go have a cigarette. When I come back up, they're going to have some kind of news or whatever. I'm just freaking the hell out. So I'll go down and have a cigarette. I come back up. Still no dice. I have to wash my hands again.
Right.
This crap. I'm waiting. And go back outside, having a cigarette. This happens like 4 or 5 times. And I'm like, oh, God. The longer this goes on,
the worse you're going to feel.
Something's wrong. I mean, so then I go downstairs and I go back outside one more time and I'm smoking and I'm shaking. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "Are you all right?" I said, "Like a guy to a hospital with her." And I'm looking at it, it's a surgeon. It's the guy who operated on her. And I'm like, "Dr. Love."
The doctor?
Yes. And he's smoking a cigarette. He's outside.
So now you guys are smoking.
And I'm like, "How did it go?" And he's like, "Oh, it went fine. No problems." And he's like, "Man, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Here, have another cigarette." So I just sit out there and have a cigarette with him.
I looked at it, your doctor, like, "You okay, man?"
Yeah, he's like, "You all right?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, it went fine." So we had a cigarette, and then we went back upstairs, and he gave me all the stuff.
That's when you notice it the most, too. Because I remember after we, dropped off the snowmobiles, we go back to the house, I go outside, I'm like, I got to smoke some weed. But I remember, it was like I couldn't light the bowl.
Because you almost went off a cliff with a snowmobile.
Yeah.
It is weird.
I don't know why I say it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The only time I got the shakes like that, and the thing, my daughter ended up being fine. And it wasn't even her, and I've said this before, but she got one of those, American Girl doll. American Girl dolls, all right? So they're a little bit bigger than your standard doll, whatever. But the one she got is basically her, right? Looks just like her. But she left this thing face down in the hall. So now it's like midnight. I'm going to go to bed. And what I see is the silhouette of my daughter face down in the middle of my hall. And I mean, your reaction is unbelievable. I get there. It's like the Flash, man. I mean, I am there in a heartbeat. I pick it up and I go instantly from just absolute panic, right? And realize it's the doll. Now it's just rage. Now it's just like, I'm just angry, man. So, I mean, I wake her up at midnight like, hey! Like that, what? Like, this goddamn doll, you take it in your room. You do not leave it face down anywhere in the house. But now I can't go to bed because I'm all amped up. And I realize my hands are shaking so bad I can barely use my remote.
That's not the reason you don't get American Doll. The reason you don't get American Doll is because they still send me catalogs 25 years later.
Still.
Like I'm still collecting the, the nurse outfit, the fireman outfit, all the stuff for this doll.
Yeah, the only way I got him to stop was to move.
It's thick, man, too.
Why were they sending it to you?
I got my niece one when she was a little kid.
They never forget you.
But the thing is,
they don't.
Why do you think Ted Smith wouldn't you guess that Ted Smith probably bought this for someone? Wouldn't you think?
Well, he might have someone else to buy it for again. That's the whole idea.
They just assume once you're in the game, you're staying in the game.
Right.
And they really do. It's weird, man. It is weird. In fact, I'd throw up probably 4 catalogs leading up to Christmas because as you flip through them, it's all toy heavy. It's Target, whatever the hell. And I would say like American Doll. And I'm like, I'm throwing this out. I don't even want her to see it.
Like, if you really hate somebody, go to NFL.com and then get them the team and the jersey that they hate the most. And then once they get that, they'll keep getting, stuff.
Forever.
Right, exactly. Like from the 49ers. You know what I mean? Like, here's your new 49er jerseys for the year. Garoppolo.
Right.
Yeah, right. Boca. Whatever.
Kittle.
Right.
Bosa.
That's a guy's name. The guy's hurt. Why should we not be talking to you right now? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Jamie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Hola.
We're doing great.
Hola.
You sound like a breath of fresh air.
Well, I try to be.
And then she's gone.
It was going into the 7th grade on the a bridle on a horse, and she's a thoroughbred, mind you, so she's like 15 hands tall. And I spooked her by coming, and when I did, she reared up, which knocked me over, and her hind hoof hit me right in the chin.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the doctors, I was at my neighbor's house, so she called my parents over, and they drove me to the hospital. And, the first thing I did, I didn't notice it at first because I got right back up after it happened. And I, was just standing there, and my neighbor was like, "I'm calling your parents." So they went, and we went to the hospital, and by the time I got there, I started vomiting, and all I got out of it was a concussion, and my chin for my bottom level of teeth are kind of straight.
Okay. Did you continue to ride horses?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because it was, I knew it was my own fault because I did not put the bridle on. For some odd reason, I took off her bridle. And if her bridle was on, it wouldn't have happened. Her halter was on.
Would you not say that that's one of the more dangerous hobbies that you could partake in?
I mean, everyone I know.
grew up in it. I grew up raising animals and riding horses and doing all of that kind of stuff. So I'm at least built of sturdier stuff, so I survived.
You do realize there's only a handful of animals on this planet that any dumb human being is willing to jump up on and try to ride. Right? You know what I mean? That's not
it's not like it's always smart when you go and jump on animals. So I wouldn't say I always did smart things when I was younger. In fact, I did a lot of my dumber stuff when I was much younger.
I mean, we all did dumb stuff when we were younger, but I did make a healthy choice to avoid animals. As far as like, we're going to do something
like,
dumb.
Who had this idea? Because you know they tried every animal.
I did all different kinds of animals. We raised pigs, sheep, horses.
What were the most difficult to deal with?
Probably the sheep.
Really? The sheep?
They try to kill themselves.
What do you mean sheep try to kill? What are they, like, listening to the Cure or something?
They'll do anything to try to kill themselves. They'll go through, like, fences. They'll tangle themselves up. They have this thing called colicking, where if you have, like, a bum calf or a bum sheep, well, so the mom, we had an all-black sheep, and we had them named in numbers, so it was number 17. Well, the mom didn't want it because it was all black. And
is it the same in the sheep world? Can this
yes, sir, 3 bags full.
We had to feed them. So we had to feed them, and we had to feed them milk, and we used llama's milk. Well, sometimes when they're switching over to a formula from the milk from the mother, that they actually end up colicking, and so their insides like twist up.
Yeah.
So we actually saved this sheep once from colicking. And we had it all back going, and it was drinking the milk and everything was going fine. And then a day later, he didn't show back up again.
Oh.
So, rest in peace, 17.
17.
That sounds so sentimental when you're a number.
Are they suicidal or just dumb?
They're pretty much both, I think, because
suicidal and stupid.
Try to kill themselves, no matter what you do to try to keep them from doing it.
Is it a cry for help? Do we need to sit down and listen to
I don't know, because the sheep are definitely, they're not the smartest bunch. I'd say it was easier to deal with horses than it is with sheep.
That's a damn shame. Right. I mean, it's a sheep. You know what I mean? Like, people count sheep. Sheep are supposed to be cute. It's like, now they're suicidal and idiotic.
That's all fine and dandy. I just can't think of the person who said, like, maybe we could just ride these animals. You know what I'm saying? Because
the horses?
Well, look, we know for a fact that every animal on this planet that someone has tried to eat. There's nothing out there.
Oh, yeah.
Any
certain animal someone's tried
has not tried to eat to see what it tastes like. Sometimes it probably died. You know what I mean? Like, got poisoned by it.
But there's places that eat horse.
No, that's exactly
I realize that.
Everywhere you go in the world, like, animals are eaten everywhere. And then there's a list of animals that universally we agree don't taste so great.
So there are a handful of animals that we know on this planet that human beings can actually ride.
Sure. But you have to get the courage to go, hey, man.
Every animal has been tried. You know, even the guy that thought he tamed that grizzly bear said, maybe I can ride this thing. Or the lion. Or the tiger.
But that's why, and my father, some of the best advice my father
or
ever
the
gave
ostrich.
Me, he said,
or
look,
whatever.
It's not important to be the first man to do something. It's important to be the first man to do it successfully. So he takes me like to the moon landing. He said, even if you're the guy, because they don't know what they're going to step on, right? He goes, it's cool to be number 2. Because if Neil Armstrong steps out there and who knows what the hell happens to him, he's like, I'm still in the capsule. It's like the first guy that tries crab, right? It's like, that's cool. No, go ahead. Yeah. He's like, I will be the second guy to try it. So
I just can't imagine looking at a horse and going like, that guy's going to take me someplace. But I think I'll jump up on his back. See what happens.
Sure. But I know, like, natives, basically, they chase them down.
Yeah.
And I assume that's the same everywhere. Because even though they can run faster than you, we have better endurance, so to speak. Then you tame them. And it's like, well, you're only here for one of two reasons. Either I'm going to eat you or I'm going to ride you.
There's a box on top of it.
But you would go on massive bison hunts because you could eat them and use their fur.
Could you ride them? Somebody tried.
Somebody tried.
Somebody tried.
Really hurt.
And the consensus was, okay, bison are out.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Remember
somebody
Jeff?
successfully got on top of a camel and rode that damn thing like the wise men. You know what I mean? I'm going to get on top of that camel.
But that makes sense. I think you can judge basically by the character of the animal.
So mule, camel, elephant, horse, what else?
Now, elephant, I would not have tried. I'd have been like, that. Okay, you go try to ride that
you see
thing.
that little box on top of the elephants. And
I think part of it, too, is just you have no other form of transportation. So the region you live in, whatever animal just keeps running by, it's like, all right, we got to try.
I'm riding them.
Okay.
That's it.
That's my working theory.
Basically, wild animals were the first mass transit.
Yeah.
You want to walk, you want to try to ride that goddamn horse thing. Let's stop eating them and ride them.
And I know somebody's going crazy on it, but it probably took a while to start breaking them.
Yes.
Yeah, well, again, see, the first guy said, ha, I got on this horse. Well, the horse still wasn't broken yet, so the next thing he said was, oh, my God, I can't feel my legs. The second guy said, man, maybe we need to break them. Maybe we need to calm him down a little bit. Because, again, Jeff, he got on the horse, and then bad things happened to Jeff.
He was on for at least 8 seconds. We should make that a sport. Why should we not be talking to you right now? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Josh. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, Josh.
Hola.
Josh?
And he's gone.
And Josh is gone.
And he's gone.
Hello, Mark. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, liquor and whores, boys.
Liquor and whores.
Well, about 2 hours ago, I had a road rage incident. I had some guy in a Cadillac STX come up behind me and ride my ass, and I tapped my brakes. I'm going 50 and a 40, and this guy just is weaving all over and get to a red light. Gold Honda comes in behind me, so he's one car back. I look at my side mirror. I see this guy charging up to my car. So I jumped out, and, he got a shirt and tie on and dress shoes, and he got close enough to me. I caught him right under his chin, and he went flat down on his back. And
but this was 2 hours ago today?
Yeah, just that long way to a job.
What the hell is it? I can't believe the guy's wearing a suit. Where's he going?
I don't know. But
that's the most unbelievable part of the story. If somebody's out there driving around right now in a suit, like they got someplace to be, or a meeting to go to, or someone to impress.
I think he had about a 4 martini lunch or something. I don't know. But thanks to the sister in the gold Honda, a cop pulled up like 10 seconds later. This guy's laying on his back bleeding. I think he bit his tongue pretty bad, rolling around in the rain, and she gets out of her car, the sister, and starts yelling at the cop that, because he comes at me, and I haven't had a real good experience with cops in my younger days, and so we all get settled down a little bit. This guy's rolling around, and cop comes up, and I guess the guy was intoxicated, and I'm pulled over to the side. I moved my car out of the way, and luckily it was an older cop. I'm 59. I'm in good shape, but
you're 59 years old and you knock somebody out in the middle of a rainstorm. Don't you feel like that those days are over?
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about anything like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, so someone charges your car.
I think after 50, you just are under this assumption that I'll never have to get into a fist fight again.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
The lady in the gold Honda, man, she was talking to this cop. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I know she was loud. And about 15 minutes later, he comes up to my window and he says, sometimes drunk drivers need a good beat down. Have a nice day. Set me on my way, yeah.
Oh, he's going to get more than that.
Good Lord, man.
Jeez.
2 hours ago.
59 years old. You got to get into a fist fight?
If someone charges a car and I'm 80. I mean, it's just, that's how that's going to go.
Dude, you got to back up. I'm 51 years old. I can't fight.
I think you might also say, I got a lot of years under my belt. You might be surprised what I've learned.
Why should we not be talking to you right now? 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.